Hey, I have a question. I got the RAM air intake and the thermal pump good to go, but I was looking at the add-ons, and the one add-on is a backup generator. How does that exactly work?
The backup generator, I think that one allows you to shoot while you're shut down. Yeah, so
yeah, that one's the one that allows you to shoot while you're shut down. And it's going to be on one of the loadouts I picked for you guys tonight. So just hang on a moment, and I'll get this recording, and we'll get it going.
So one of the benefits of the backup generator to shoot while you're shut down is two things. One is that it takes you off the radar when you shut down, and two is that your cooling is very efficient when you're shut down. So if you want to do like say like sniping in like a double rail rook or something, you can hang back, shut down, which takes you off the radar, and kind of unload those two rail guns with really good heat dissipation. So it's kind of a cloak sniper loadout thing.
How are they seeing while they're shut down, Ace?
Through the scope.
Okay, I was just curious because I've tried it and I didn't have much effect with it, but I guess I'll try it again.
Yeah, it doesn't work if you overheat. I thought it would work if you overheat. Oh, that was my issue with it.
That's what I thought too, is when you overheated, that it on.
Yeah.
But you shut down intentionally.
Okay, right. So,
yeah, none of
you guys are ready.
None of the shutdown modules will work if you're overheating. Like the refuel while you're shut down, that won't work if you're overheating.
Or using coolant flush. So if you do that super powerful shutdown with that module coolant flush, they don't pair with those.
Oh, they don't stack at all or nothing like
that? Nope.
Cool.
So, if the people that are interested in the gold rush, or the people on my side, I guess, could jump into a gold rush, and my build is essentially a large laser. If you could put these on one of your configs, put a large laser onto the large weapon slot, and 2 missile launchers onto the top missile pods. For the modules, I'll get you to pick air brake, and I go with coolant flush. Not coolant flush. I go with fuel pump, although you could go with coolant flush, I guess, as well.
So can you repeat that again, Fear? It's large cannon on one trigger, 2 small missiles, both of them on another trigger, correct?
No, I said large laser.
Oh, sorry.
And as for the fire group, sorry about that. Yeah, one large laser on one, and put that on its own firing group, and then put the 2 missile pods onto their own paired firing trigger, so that you're only using up 2 of those buttons. Usually, I'll map the air brakes to another free button, and that leaves you with the option of using a 4th triggered module like coolant flush or some other thing. But usually I end up going with auxiliary fuel pump, which is when you're shut down, you're still stacking fuel into the mech, and there's a reason for that. I'm a bit of a gambler as far as playing goes.
When everybody's ready, please click ready on your screen. Okay, looks like we're good to go. So. Real quick, you guys probably know what we're going to do, but basically we're going to have these loadouts, and then after the first round, we're going to switch teams. So the red is going to play the gold rush, and blue will play the hoppers. And then we'll do 2 different mechs. We'll do the rook and the catalyst. So we're going to take the first 5 minutes, right, Fear, to sort of talk you through a couple of the tips and tricks. And then for the last 10 minutes of the round, we'll just go and practice them by killing each other. So, any questions? All right, let's do this.
Sounds good.
We'll have a team chat to get started. Then at like the 5-minute mark, Fear, I'll turn on all talk. I'll announce it, and then I'll turn team chat back on. Cool. All right, here we go.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, Hopper Squad. All right, 2 things here for the Hopper that I want to really work on today. One is hopping, believe it or not, and the other is ramming, because Hoppers are actually one of the best rammers in the game. So first, the hop. Just like what it sounds like, when I first started out, I had this tendency to lay on my jets like a lot. I was just burning fuel like the whole time I was jumping. So what we want to practice is actually getting like upward momentum, and then let go of your jets for a second, let your upward momentum carry you, and then fire them again. So get used to coasting a little bit and that quiet sound. And then when you land, you're going to feel your knees spring back up. When you feel that spring, use that momentum to do another hop. And basically, just look at your fuel. You can do this all day long and just sort of hop up and down. Use that momentum from your knees to carry you onto the next hop. So one thing you could do with this, is you can sort of jump toward an opponent, launch your missiles at them, maybe land behind them, and then hop again in the other direction, swivel your cockpit, and shoot again as you're going by. Okay? So that's one thing, is just hopping. So practice hopping, again, not hardcore laying on the jets. That's the first thing. The second thing that we could practice here, the hopper is a brutal rammer. These 2 elbows that it has on it are some of the most effective killing weapons in this game, believe it or not, next to the drill, and even comparable to the gold rush at a good speed. Now the trick here with ramming, you do need some momentum. So in that case, you're going to want to sort of do your hop, and then as you're going in for that ram, you want to sort of lay on those jets in a forward motion. But here's the biggest trick that took a long time for us to actually realize, and we had to ask the developers about this, is that when you're ramming something, like I'm going to ram this rock, you keep your reticle, your sight, trained on where you want your elbows to go, and that's where your elbows will go. So try running into one of these cliff faces gently and but keep your sight on where you want your elbows to go. Now this is important, because if you're ramming someone and you're looking up or down, your elbows will go up or down, and you may very well ram them with your cockpit or some major part of your body and cause yourself to explode instead of them. So what we're going to do here after about 2 more minutes of just practicing this a little bit is I'd like you to, when we engage the enemies, the first thing is to just try to hop, pick a target. First, identify a target, move toward it on your radar, identify it with your eyeballs, and I want you to hop toward it, unleash a few missiles, and feel that spring in your knees. And when you hit that spring in your knees, hop again. I don't care if you hop to sort of another location or do a 180 in the air and shoot again, but use that hopping momentum when you land to hop again, no matter where you go. Do that a couple times, just practice hopping and shooting. And then after you do that a couple times, build up your fuel again, and then go in for a ram. And again, keep your reticle trained on the other grinder when you do the ram. So any questions about those 2 things, hopping and ramming?
I got a quick question. Someone a while ago had told me something about nuzzling, basically shaking your headset left and right. Does that work or do damage?
Yeah, definitely. So sometimes you'll be right up next to somebody and you might be out of fuel, or in salvage, it happens all the time. And when you're up next to them, get in there and move your head back and forth like this.
Now, do I have to move my head, or can I just rotate left and right violently?
I think it's more effective to move your actual head.
It looks a lot more effective just moving your head.
Rather than doing this.
Oh, okay.
Because
that just looks like a stupid day.
This is just
looks like flossing, yeah.
So get in there and shake it apart. You'll see their plates starting to fly off. And then when you see those black spots, open up, you aim for those black spots. So that's an important part of any of these grinders, is as soon as you see those armor plates shredding away, you want to aim for that black spot, because if you hit another armor plate, it's just going to take the armor plate off. So now finally, when we're doing this, you guys have a thermal pump. So when you're doing these hops, you also have ram air cooling. So you'll see your heat. You'll see little arrows showing that your heat is dissipating because of your ram air jet. Now your heat is going to be going down. If you hit your thermal pump, it activates, you know, it fills your gas tank, but it builds heat. But since you have ram air, it'll help equalize that. So take advantage of your jumps to just hit your fuel. Okay, so use your thermal pump as you're jumping around to build up a little fuel. But remember, you click it once to turn it on. Go ahead and like do it now, and you'll see your heat build up. Click it another time, and it'll turn off. All right. So take advantage of the hops. All right, we're gonna get started here. Let me.
Once we.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, once we know the ram air intake is working, that's when we hit that That's when we hit the thermal pump.
Yeah, almost definitely when you're flying around, it'll activate. You know, most likely. Sometimes it won't because you're not going quite fast enough. But the fact that you're in the air and moving means that at some point it's going to turn on. So, you know, it's best to use it when ram air is going, but you don't have to wait for it because most likely it'll turn on anyway. Make sense?
Okay, perfect.
All
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
Let me go on all talk here.
So kind of from here to maybe a little further back.
Fear, you need a few more minutes, or you want to get started?
Our next step was attacking each other. Was that the deal?
That's right.
Right. Well, let's try to put some of this into use. The idea behind that convergence distance, though, is just basically that's about where all three weapons in this build meet. It's specific to this build.
All right, I'm going back to team chat. Give me about 10 seconds, and we're going to start the battles.
I'm gonna eject, get a fresh grinder. I did kind of hurt myself practicing bunny jumps.
Yeah, no problem. Go
Yeah,
for it.
for sure.
Go for it. All right, so they're in Gold Rush's hoppers. So they're going to start to, you're going to see a lot of forward momentum from them. That's where a lot of hopping comes into play as well. So as we get started here, again, kind of pick a target, hop toward it, and blast it with a few missiles. And when you feel that spring in your knees, hop again. Okay? So no matter which, even if this one's like flying up. Go ahead.
Are we starting now?
Yep, we're starting.
I was gonna say, is it worth noting not to charge them headlong because our blades aren't as strong as their base?
Oh no, definitely charge at Gold Rush with a hopper for sure. You will win.
Oh really? Okay,
oh,
cool.
Yeah, you'll win like 9 times out of 10, because you're just much more pointy than they are. And when you're hopping, remember, use that spring in your knees, especially for Gold Rushes. Aim for the top of their head. Okay, so just keep hopping, just hop, and remember, lay off the jets a little bit. Coast. Use your coasting to your advantage and aim for the top of those Gold Rushes, and they will pop all the time. But don't worry, don't get too excited about kill counts and stuff like this. This is about practicing, you know, the hoppers and stuff. Try to get above them. The best advantage for a hopper is to be above a target. Just keep hopping. I want to see everybody just hopping around. Remember, if you can, hit your thermal pump once in a while you're flying, and then turn it off. right, if you've got a little bit of hopping under your belt, next go ahead and choose a target and go ahead and try the ram, okay? Sorry, I landed on top of you.
Be careful.
Nice.
Nice,
I needed a new grinder anyway.
There you go, blew him up. Yeah, for rams, you could be more aggressive with your forward motion. And for the sake of this practice, you might want to sort of make sure you... Oh, there you go. Ram him. Aim for him, Drew. There you go. Put your reticle on right where you want your elbows to hit.
Yeah, I nicked him with my legs.
Yeah, it's all right. You still hit him. Not again. There you go. Pick a target and try to ram him. And remember, keep your reticle trained on your target as you're moving in. I like to sometimes hit my thermal pump as I'm going in because I know that I'm using my fuel as my weapon. So in a way, it's like it's okay that the heat is building up because that's the weapon I'm using as my ram. All right, go on, Drew. Nail him. I'll distract him. Yeah, nice.
Oh, wow,
Very
okay.
nice. There you go. Even if a gold rush is flying toward you and threatening to ram you, if you have fuel and you have forward motion, you ram him. And keep your reticle trained on his cockpit, and you most likely, 9 times out of 10, that gold rush will pop. Nice, Onion, that was good. You shredded a lot of his plates. Now aim for that black spot. Try to hop upward. Oh, there you go. Conserve your fuel.
Yeah, once I get the motion of hopping going, I'm like really like cruising, but like sometimes I don't get it, and then it's like I'm just kind of like bobbing around.
Sure. Once you get into the rhythm, it's not too bad. So for the ramming, it's not so much of a hop, really. You are trying to get some forward motion when you're attacking them. You may start out with a hop, but you're really sort of like getting that forward motion in. Even short rams can do a pretty good amount of damage in terms of shredding plates. So even if you're close to an enemy, you can do a short ram and shred their plates, and then you unload all your missiles right into the area you just shredded. So don't underestimate how powerful like a short-term ram, short-run ram can be.
What was that last part about short-term ram? Sorry, I was in the middle of a fight.
It doesn't have to be a really long approach to a ram. You could be closer to an enemy and just do a burst and still do a lot of damage with a ram.
Your team was victorious.
I don't know exactly how that works, but you don't need more than, I would say, about 30 meters at the most to kill someone. Like, definitely kill someone.
Yeah, I know when I started, I tried to do like the full 100 miles an hour ram, and it's not necessary.
Only for dredges.
Only-
You can do that to a dredge, and you probably won't kill it, but you'll leave it a smoking wreck, and if you survive, you might actually get the shots you need to kill it.
Would it be into a hopper next?
Yep, so blue team, come over to red. Red team, switch over to blue, please. Or I guess, yeah, that'll be easy. I guess Fear and I could have just switched, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you switch? Good practice using the menus.
Yeah, just click team in the bottom left and switch to whatever one you didn't have.
So we're using hopper with the alpha build.
Hopper, put the left all missiles, and then put the left missiles on one trigger and the right missiles on another trigger. And then you want to select thermal pump and the ram air cooling, or ram air jets, or whatever it's called. So left missiles on one trigger, right missiles on another trigger, thermal pump on a button, one of your buttons, and then the ram air jets.
Ram air intake?
Ram air intake, yes, sorry.
And it's kind of strange, but not one single veteran here knows, like, all of the names for the modules.
So we get three weapon groups, and then we sort them up.
For the hopper, you'll want both of your left missiles on one trigger, both of them, and then your right missiles on another trigger, and then your thermal pump on like group 4, for example, which is a button on your controller, and then the ram air intake, and that's just a passive module. It does not need a button.
Are we supposed to be red team or blue team for Gold Rush?
Blue team is Gold Rush.
Here, what modules do we go
Got
with? Again, over.
Yeah, for the Gold Rush, I would absolutely recommend the air brakes, and I would also put in either coolant flush, or the one that I use is auxiliary fuel pump.
So Burger Meat, can you switch to the hopper? You're gonna have to unclick your ready, probably, in order to switch your grinder. Alright, cool. And then when people are ready, can you just click ready so I see the check mark? So after this one, Burger, you're still getting set up, right?
I'm ready now.
Alright, cool. Alright, cool. So we'll do this one. Same thing. We'll take about 5 minutes or so to get familiar. And then after this round, we'll go ahead and switch up. Hopefully folks will be able to stay on, and we're going to do some Rook and Catalyst. So here we go.
Deathmatch.
Alright, hang out here, Hopper Squad. Welcome to one of my favorite grinders. I hear that. Alright, so the two things about the hopper that I'd like to introduce are, one is the actual hop, so the reason it's actually called hopper, and the second thing is the ramming on these suckers, because they have some of the best ramming in the entire game, even compared to a Gold Rush. The pointy elbows on this thing are one of the most effective weapons you could use. So we want to talk about how to use those effectively. So the first thing is the hop. Now you guys have probably been in a hopper at least once or twice before, but when I was first started out playing any of these grinders, when I burned my jets, I had a pretty heavy hand with the jets. So with the hopper, you don't want to do that. You really want to try to hop. And the idea behind that is you want to build up, take a couple steps forward, build up a little bit of forward momentum, and then start the jump. But as soon as you start getting some upward momentum, ease off your jets. Basically just stop blowing them. And just keep doing that. Do sort of bursts on your jets to start hopping. Let yourself coast. So don't get as tied into having the jets on the whole time that you're hopping, you're jumping around. You'll see already that your fuel stays pretty full. Now the second thing to hopping is that when you land, you're gonna feel your knees kind of spring upward. They'll spring down and then they'll spring up. As soon as you feel them springing upward again, use that momentum to start your next hop, okay? So the idea here is to just keep hopping around, quite literally. And this will be the first thing we do when we engage in this particular battle. You're just gonna pick a target, sort of identify it on the radar, and then identify it with your eyeballs, and just hop toward the enemy. And especially with gold rushes, you wanna shoot downward at the tops of those things because they will peel open like a sardine can and pop like really fast. So as you're hopping over them, and really even any grinder, you unload those missiles, and then when you land, you hop again. Don't give them time to lock onto you. Then you hop again. You can sort of do like a 180 in the air and, you know, shoot again at them. I mean, I've spent time sometimes just hopping up and down, back and forth, forward and backward on an enemy. So use that spring in your knees to initiate your next hop. So that's hopping. The next thing is ramming. Now, the thing about ramming that not everyone knows about the hopper is that, and this one you do want some more forward motion, so not just a gentle hop. You can start with a hop, but as you get closer to your target, you blast forward with your jets and get some real forward motion going. But what a lot of people don't know about the hopper is that when you're ramming, you want to train your reticle, train your sight where you want your elbows to hit. Okay, so you can actually practice this gently on some of these cliff faces. Look at where you want your elbows to hit, okay? And that's where they'll go. You'll see them converge on that spot right before you hit. So this is important because if you're ramming someone and you start looking up or looking down, and you start looking up or down, that's where your elbows are going to go. And so you might actually expose your cockpit or your body, your torso, to your target instead of hitting them with your arms. So when you're ramming, you want to keep your sights trained on your target, and that's where your elbows will hit. All right, so any questions about hopping or ramming for now?
That was cool, thanks.
All right.
I'm not sure I'm getting the
what?
The hopping, sorry.
Oh, no problem. So basically pull up on your jump stick. So your jump stick is kind of like a plunger. If you pull up on it, you'll go up. And then if you move it forward, backward, left, or right, those are the directions you'll go. But you have to pull up. So now, Marco, when you land, let yourself land, and you'll see, watch my knees, they'll spring upwards. So you're going to see your knees go down, then they go up. There you go. Use that momentum to float up again.
Nice.
Exactly. Yep. Good job. Did you feel that? You can just see, even if we just stay in one spot, you know, you could feel yourself. This is pretty funny, actually. But you can feel it. And this is where the hopper, I mean, look at that. You can then let go, you know, give yourself the upward momentum and then let go of your jets, you know, and you could just see how much of a jump you can get. And your gas tank is basically full, like, you know, most of the time by doing that. So finally, in terms of the modules, so when we're flying around in these hoppers, you'll notice that your cooling is going to activate because we have the ram air intake, okay? So because, especially if you got to get to a certain speed, and then it'll activate. But when that activates, that's a really good time to hit your thermal pump. So your thermal pump will regenerate your fuel, while your ram air intake, which builds heat, it draws from heat to fill your fuel tank, but your ram air intake at the same time will help cool you down. So because hoppers are always kind of jumping around a lot, it's a really good opportunity to keep your fuel pretty much maxed out as much as you can.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I didn't know about that.
So
That's a good combo.
exactly, yeah, it's really good. Gold Rush, it's great on Gold Rush as well. So
I'm not saying what the fuel is or
But
the.
do you have to toggle it? Because it's like
yes.
I'm completely overheated.
Yep. You push the button once to turn it on. You push the button again to turn it off. So you tap the button once to turn it on. So everybody just tap the button once to turn it on so you see what happens. And then tap it again and it'll stop.
So like in a moment where you're trying to get away fast, that's where you would use that.
Well, it's more to refill your fuel faster. So if you're out of fuel, hopefully you have enough heat to use it. But if you're flying around, even as you're approaching, it's a good chance to just fill your fuel because you're not shooting your weapons or anything. So you may as well use your heat to fill your fuel tank. So basically any chance you have, especially like say you're walking toward an engagement or something and you just did a jump and your fuel is regenerating, hit your thermal pump to help regenerate your fuel. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, looks like we're about ready to get started actually. We're gonna hop toward a target. Just practice hopping for like the first couple minutes. Just hop, hop, hop. Breathe, okay? So when you feel your knees bound, you're gonna hop toward a target, shoot at it. As soon as you land and you feel that spring, hop back up. Just keep hopping around for the first couple minutes after I announce the start. And then after you do that for a couple of minutes, practice your ramming, okay? So at first, everybody just hop around like a hopper. Get used to doing that. And then after that, do a little ramming. All right, I'm gonna turn on all talk. All right, Fear, you ready?
Did I not mention anything?
Oh, so with the hopper, it was precise. Like when we're ramming them, we're supposed to look at our target the whole time. Do we have to do?
Look at your target like at least right before you impact. That's the most important thing because it's most important right before you actually hit them.
Yeah, that's what I've heard with the hopper. That basically your arms kind of point towards where you're looking, and you're trying to lose an arm in exchange for killing a gold rush in the face.
Yeah, you don't really want to lose your arms though if you can help it, but that might happen. It's worth it.
Yeah, that's the most common outcome when you kill a gold rush by sticking your arm in his eye, though.
Ace, is the amount of cooling from the ram air intake proportional to how fast you're going? Because I see the green slider moves up and down as I increase speed.
You know what? I don't know, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's not, but I could be wrong.
That's still a good indicator to kind of get a good idea of how fast you have to be moving in order for it to take effect.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna get started.
So I am curious. Because I have it set to a custom thing. The hold. Does the grab command do anything?
Grab command. No. Hang on one sec, though. Fear, we're gonna get started, okay?
Wait, I know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's misleading. What that actually is grabbing like the joystick with your VR hands. So that's like it's the never talked about button, the one down by your pinky finger.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, because I have that. I'm using a HOTUS, so that's not useful for me.
Oh, okay. Wow, a PC gamer, welcome to Vox. That's super awesome.
All right, gonna turn team chat back on, and we'll battle out the last 5 minutes here.
For sure.
All right, guys, hop away.
So it seems like with the fuel pump, you don't want to just leave it on the whole time. You kind of want to throttle it on and off.
Yeah, turn it on, build it up, and then let it go again. So again, just hop around, pick a target, and do some hopping, and just annoy the hell out of them. Shoot the tops of those gold rushes as you're hopping. Just hop, shoot the top, hop, shoot the top, hop, shoot the top. I'm gonna go get a new grinder.
Yeah, the other thing with hoppers is like as soon as you land, you want to try and bounce. You're gonna bounce anyway when the legs hit, so you want to keep moving around and just bounces.
Yep, we mentioned that during the training, but thanks, Alex.
Oh, you got it.
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
What's the weakest part of the hopper? The head?
Yeah, the top of it. Nice, Pitmaster.
Oh shoot. Yeah, you can also land on people.
So try to save that fuel just for the hops, okay guys? Try not to use it in to get away or anything like that. You're going to want to just try to jump, hop in and out for now. And then if you feel comfortable and you see a target lined up, get some forward momentum and try a ram. And remember, keep your reticle trained on where you want your elbows to hit. And even short rams, like we were mentioning before, short rams will still do a good deal of damage. You don't have to be flying from clear across the map to do damage with a ram. You can do one when they're in pretty close quarters and even get a kill. And at the very least, you can shred armor plates and then just unload all those missiles right into the hole you just created. So another thing with ramming and the thermal pump, sometimes I like to activate my thermal pump as I'm going in for a ram. It gives me extra fuel to push forward or to move left or right to adjust, and it builds heat, but I consider it a weapon, the ram a weapon as well, like any other. So if I'm building heat to do a good ram, I'm okay with that. So sometimes I'll activate my thermal pump as I'm moving in, just to give myself that extra boost I need or the directionality to be able to maneuver a really good ram. They're in kind of a low spot, so it's a little hard to get forward on them.
What's generally the role
I'm sorry, say that again, I couldn't hear you.
So, like, what's the general role you should be playing in a team game?
Hopper, think of it, I like to think of it sometimes as like missile runs. You hop in, you unload on a few targets, you hop out. You know, if you can engage and get a kill with like a ram and stuff, that's great. If you can pick apart the top of a grinder without them completely blowing you up, that's awesome too. But it's really sort of get in, get out, not to exactly run away, but just keep moving. You know, keep just doing, you know, constant damage on these things. And then any chance you get to like land a ram or something like that, like take advantage of it, because again, the hopper is one of the most effective rammers in the whole game.
So it's kind of like guerrilla warfare. Just get in there, do some damage, get out, float around, annoy them.
Yeah, and once you start practicing more, you'll be able to sort of hover a little bit better, and you'll be able to, you know, potentially just start picking off targets by just hovering on top of them and blast them in the face.
But you don't necessarily like want to be flanking them, or
in terms of flanking, I mean, I think in the game generally, it's always good to try some flanking maneuvers, but you don't. One thing about that though is,
Hey!
good job, everyone.
Wow. Something died.
That was a great ending.
Good game, all. That was a lot of fun.
that was fun.
Good game.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm having fun. I'm just not sure if I'm quite understanding what I'm doing. Yeah.
Okay. Certainly, especially since you're on my clan, ask away, and I'll dedicate some time to making sure everything is totally crystal clear to you, no matter what the question is.
We're also recording these, so you guys can review them afterwards.
So in between the two videos that get posted of this, you guys can basically figure out, oh, that's me, or that's what I was doing, or this or that. So
I look like an idiot, etc. Just kidding. Hey, that was super helpful, guys. Unfortunately, I got to jump off. I really wanted to learn more about the Rook and Catalyst, so maybe, hopefully, we can do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, well, Fear, you know what I'm thinking? It's 11:15. Maybe we should do the Rook and Catalyst at a separate event, because otherwise we're going to be going, like, well over the time.
fair enough. Yeah, not a problem. That sounds like a good idea. If you guys have any particular suggestions, go onto the Discord under the, where did we post this? Community events? And suggest a time that all works for you guys. And we'll definitely pull something together, or at least I definitely can. I've got a lot of free time, so.
Yeah, for now we can plan on next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. We'll do Rook and Catalyst. And this was our first time doing this, so in terms of timing and stuff, it'll be a little more streamlined. So I hope you guys are okay with that. Sorry we didn't get to them tonight, but we don't want to sort of run way too late.
That makes sense.
Okay, cool.
No, that's good. That's good. I'm happy with what I got.
Yeah.
Here, what are you doing?
That was super helpful.
I'm just gonna hang out and keep on playing for a while. So anyone's welcome to hang out in the server, and I could either continue doing Gold Rush training if you guys want that, or I could do the whole Team Canada squad training. A lot of us here.
I'd be down for the squad training.
Alright, y'all have a good night. See you guys.
Alright, I'm gonna hop
Later,
over.
man. Have a good night, man.
Hop
See ya.
over to Frog server.
The
Thanks
Discord.
everyone for joining us tonight. Yeah, join the Discord.
Yeah, thanks for joining us as well.
Yo, I'd be down to practice with some hammers and experiment on where I can get that one-shot kill. I'm trying to find the hammer sweet spot.
Deathmatch. Deathmatch. Work with your team.
Alright guys, thanks for joining us today. That was pretty cool. Boot Camp version 1 under our belt. And we'll keep these going a little bit and see how they go. So see you in Vox.